Joe, like that first scene, like we saw what the table flip did and we want our own table flip moment?
Of course, they always wanted to be famous. They act toward the cameras. They act for the cameras. They're very aware of the cameras.
Yeah. Yep. I agree.
How much?
All right, David, what's your next question?
Well, I was just going to ask to all of that, like how much, because like so much has been written about it. How much of like what was the final straw that kind of broke up your friendship with Teresa? And like, back then, before we get to this lunch and everything going on now, and like, do you really put that on Melissa? And 3, what involvement do you think you had in that?
Okay, so this is what the fans are saying, that I'm blaming Melissa for 100% of me and Teresa. I never said that. That's people's assumptions of it. Was Melissa in my ear the whole time? Yes. Did she make me see Teresa in a different light? Yes, because that wasn't the friend I knew for 7 years. Teresa and I never got in one fight, one argument. There was never any jealousy between us. I'm not that kind of a friend. We never had an issue. Melissa comes on, she's in my ear about Teresa. She's a victim. Teresa does this and this. Teresa, why do you do this? Why do you do, and then Teresa would get upset with me, like I'm taking their side. And that caused a lot of friction between us because she felt like I wasn't being loyal to her because I'm listening to them, but I'm just trying to get them to have some kind of resolve. So I'm like, Teresa, maybe not do this or this or this, like, she's like, but she does the, And then she would get mad at me and she started to pull away from me at that time because that's when she started to pull away from me because of that. But, Teresa and I, we had, I don't know how much Melissa was in her ear, but they were definitely in my ear. And I believe Joe was in her ear because of that scene in my kitchen where she tells me Joe told her to be careful of me. And I'm like, he's the one that told me to be careful of you.
Careful of you.
And that's
oh my God.
I called him on the spot because I was like, wait a second, you answer this right now because we're both sitting here. Like, you tell me. And that's why I tried to hold him accountable because I'm like, I'm not playing this telephone game. Like,
no.
Did you tell me these things about Teresa? Or are you telling her things about me? And that's what I wanted answers right there. And I put him on the spot.
Yeah.
And, she didn't like that. And it looked like, I was pitting them against each other, but I'm not going to sit there and have me thinking he's my friend and he's telling her stuff when I'm
to
like,
be careful of you.
Wait a second. He said that to me about her. So that's why I brought that up. So I was trying to get to the bottom of that. But, Teresa and I, obviously, once you're at it with each other, it's like tit for tat. Like, I'm saying this, you're saying that, but and then it grew from there. Yeah. And then, you watch things that happened between us. So I never said Melissa's 100% the blame when Teresa and I are friends. What I said was she did have a part in it because she was in my ear talking a lot. And I
instigated. She instigated.
Yeah. And, and then once Teresa and I weren't friendly, Melissa and Joe were telling me all kinds of information that I shouldn't have been privy to,
Wow.
And I'm saying they're not like innocent, but like, yes, fake it with your sister on camera and try to make it work and whatever, but don't turn on me and start saying things that I supposedly did and let me take the heat for things that I had 1,000% like had nothing to do with. To me, that's a shitty freaking person. And that's what they were doing to me. Even at the reunion when Teresa was trying to blame me for calling the feds and Caroline for calling the feds, like they knew damn well that wasn't true. And the secret I knew, Kim.
Yes. Well, the secret. Right. So the secret that I had told Jacqueline, okay, and both of us kept it to ourselves. We really didn't. Jacqueline never revealed it. That a very, very close friend of Joe's, who I was very close with, and Teresa knows too, a guy, I don't want to mention his name, I don't want to bring any problems, was in Joe Gorga's office and watched Joe Gorga tell his secretary to call the IRS. Now, did they have anything to do with the feds? I don't know. But he watched the secretary call the IRS on Joe Giudice. So, and Jacqueline and I both knew all this. And the person it came from was best friends with Joe, best friends. And this is something else Jacqueline never revealed. Again, took the friggin' heat. Her sister-in-law took the heat and she still didn't reveal, because Teresa and Joe were friendly. They were supposedly friendly.
Yeah. And listen, the feds had to do with Joe's ex-partner. We know that.
Exactly.
The IRS
is different. The IRS is different, but
I didn't witness it. I'm hearing that.
Nope. Yep. I didn't
when
witness it either, but I
third
believe the
party.
guy.
Well, if you both heard it, I mean, that is you, neither of you revealed that, but like in Jacqueline's case, like, right, like that is your sister. And like, was that hard? Were you ever like, wait, and it's not the same as the feds, but Caroline was being, taking the fall. It was like, she did it. Were you ever like, should I just speak up? Or it was like, this is just so dark. Like, I can't bring this up.
Well, to me, it was so dumb to even think that Caroline or I would call the feds when we were friends at the time with the beginning of this investigation. We were friends with them. Like that would be ridiculous. So I'm like, her even saying that was ridiculous. And, so
you didn't dignify it with an answer. You don't dignify something with an answer.
Dumb,
Right.
The IRS thing, I don't like to speak on things unless they're facts or I know stuff. And it's not a fact to me because I heard it secondhand. I heard it from you, who heard it from whoever. So I can't speak on something that I don't have facts on or that I know, you know what I mean? So I'm just like, that's really deep within their family. I'm not going to get into that, but they know damn well. And they know like Joe is good friends with Joe's ex-partner. Joe Gorga was good friends with Joe's ex-partner.
Yeah.
Just the fact that they were allowing me to take heat for like Strippergate and all that when they knew I did everything I could to help her, defend her and, protect her. And then they just flipped on me the way they did was so dirty and disgusting to me. And like I said, you could go back and read my 2016 Bravo blog. These people have no integrity or something like that. It's titled. I say the same thing I say now that I said back then. I'm not saying anything new.
Right.
And the whole thing disgusted me. And and Teresa's known this entire time that I haven't liked Melissa since season 7 reunion. That's why, like, when we sat down at the finale, I wanted to talk to Teresa and have a heart to heart with her and let her know why I'm feeling a certain way. And like, I wanted to hear from her what happened between the night before Vermont when we were getting along to that day in Vermont that night. What happened? I wanted to get down to the bottom of it. I had no intentions of even speaking to Melissa because Teresa, I had a 7-year friendship before the show ever started with not one argument. What happened during the show? It was ugly between Teresa and I. And that's what you do when two Tauruses go head to head and you're fighting, you don't like each other, shit's going to be thrown. That we were on a stressful reality show. We were both going through horrible stuff in our lives.
Yes, that's
so
right.
It's like, you're at high stress and you've got people in your ear and producers and cast members and fans. And it's just very hard to maintain a friendship on the show. I had a friendship with her 7 years prior to the show even starting. That was worth like talking through and getting down to the bottom of it. Melissa, I met her on the show. I don't give two shits about her. I don't want her in my life. I got her number.